What if the plant your neighbor just sprayed and pulled out of their flower bed has more omega-3 in it than the fish oil pills sitting in your medicine cabinet? Most people look at weeds as something to kill. Mow them, pull them, spray them, bag them up for the trash. But while you were doing that, you were literally throwing away one of the most concentrated sources of plant-based omega-3 on the planet. Not a small amount either. Some of the weeds on this list contain more alpha-linolenic acid, the essential fat your body cannot make on its own, than flaxseed. More than walnuts. One of them holds the highest recorded omega-3 content of any leafy green ever tested, and it's probably growing in a crack in your driveway right now. Here's why this matters. Humans evolved eating a diet where omega-6 and omega-3 fats existed in roughly a 1-to-1 ratio. Today, thanks to seed oils and grain-fed everything, that ratio has blown out to 15 or 16 to 1 in the average diet, and that imbalance is tied to chronic inflammation and cardiovascular strain. The plants on this list are one of the only free, wild-growing ways to pull that ratio back toward where your body actually expects it to be. Stick around, because number 7 on this list is the one traditional Chinese medicine literally nicknamed the vegetable for long life, and number 3 has a poisonous look-alike that sends people to the emergency room every single year. So I'm going to show you exactly how to tell them apart before you ever put one in your mouth. And the plant at number 1 has a seed oil so concentrated in omega-3 that it outperforms almost anything else in the plant kingdom. Make sure you subscribe, because we cover the science behind the food already growing around you, for free, every week. Let's get into it. These are ranked from remarkable to absolutely extraordinary. Number 1. Wild violet. We're starting with a plant most people think is just a pretty spring flower and nothing more. Wild violet grows low to the ground in heart-shaped clusters of leaves, with small purple, blue, or white flowers that most homeowners either ignore or mow flat without a second thought. Biochemical screening of wild violet leaves shows they're rich in polyunsaturated fat, and alpha-linolenic acid is the dominant fatty acid present, ahead of the linoleic and oleic acids also found in the plant. On top of that, the leaves and flowers carry an unusually high load of vitamin C and vitamin A, plus antioxidant flavonoids that have been used for generations to calm inflamed skin and soothe sore throats. Here's the one thing you need to know before you forage it. Before wild violet flowers, its heart-shaped leaves can look similar to lesser celandine, which is toxic. The fix is simple. Wait until it flowers. Lesser celandine has glossy leaves and bright yellow blooms. Wild violet's flowers are asymmetrical, in blue, purple, or white, with dark veins running toward the center. Once you see the flower, you'll never confuse the two again. Both the leaves and the flowers are edible, with a mild, faintly sweet taste. Toss the young leaves into a salad, or use the blossoms as a garnish, and you've just eaten a plant most people pay landscapers to remove. Number 2. Ground ivy. Also called creeping Charlie. This is the plant that takes over lawns and drives homeowners to buy expensive herbicide. It spreads in low mats, with round, scalloped leaves and small blue-violet flowers, and it releases a sharp mint and sage smell the moment you crush a leaf. Chemical fingerprinting of ground ivy has picked up strong signals of alpha-linolenic acid in the plant tissue, alongside 2 compounds called ursolic acid and oleanolic acid, both of which have shown anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial activity in lab studies. It's also loaded with vitamin C, iron, and potassium. This one has a reputation dating back nearly 2,000 years, used historically to treat headaches, respiratory issues, and inflammation. Because the essential oils in ground ivy are so concentrated, you don't want to eat it in bulk like a salad green. Mince the young spring leaves finely into a vinaigrette, or dry them for a minty herbal tea. Number 3. Garlic mustard. This one is considered an aggressive, invasive species almost everywhere it grows, which is exactly why it's worth learning to eat. In its first year, it's a low rosette of dark green, kidney-shaped leaves. In its second year, It shoots up a stem over a foot tall with jagged, heart-shaped leaves. Crush any part of it, and you get an unmistakable smell of garlic and mustard at the same time. That smell is your safety check. Garlic mustard's first-year rosette can resemble ground ivy or wild violet leaves, but neither of those plants smells like garlic when crushed. If it doesn't smell like garlic, it's not garlic mustard, and you leave it alone. Nutritionally, this is one of the most underrated wild greens in North America. It contains meaningful alpha-linolenic acid, and research comparing it to cultivated greens has found it can outperform kale, spinach, and broccoli in overall essential fatty acid and mineral content. It's also dense in vitamin E, vitamin C, zinc, iron, and selenium, and it contains compounds that have been linked to lowering LDL cholesterol. Use the raw leaves in salads or a cold pesto. Just don't cook it for long. Heat destroys the garlic flavor fast and leaves you with something bitter. Number 4. Dandelion. This is the plant that gets sprayed more than almost any other weed in America, and it's also the one that traditional Chinese medicine has referred to for centuries as the vegetable for long life. Every part of the dandelion oozes a bitter, milky sap when broken, and the leaves grow in a rosette, with deeply toothed edges pointing back toward the center of the plant. Raw dandelion greens carry a genuinely favorable omega-3 fat profile, and in feeding studies where diets were enriched with dandelion, the linolenic acid content in the tissue of the animals consuming it rose to more than 74% of total fatty acids. That's not a small nutritional footnote. That's a plant actively reshaping the fat composition of whatever eats it. Dandelion greens also deliver an enormous dose of vitamin K, along with vitamin A, vitamin C, iron, and antioxidant carotenoids. The bitter compounds in the leaves stimulate liver and gallbladder function, and the roots are rich in a prebiotic fiber called inulin that feeds your gut bacteria. One caution here: dandelion has a taproot that can dig over a foot into the soil, and taproots pull up whatever is in the ground beneath them, including heavy metals, if the soil is contaminated. We'll come back to exactly how to pick a safe location in a minute. For now, know that young spring rosettes are the least bitter, and you can toss them raw into a salad, while older summer leaves are better blanched for a few minutes before sautéing. Number 5. Shepherd's purse. If you've ever seen a small weed with flat, heart-shaped seed pods that look like tiny purses hanging off a thin stalk, you've found shepherd's purse. It starts as a rosette of lobed leaves, then sends up a central stem lined with small white flowers. The greens and seeds of shepherd's purse carry meaningful alpha-linolenic acid along with essential amino acids, and the plant is dense in vitamin K, vitamin C, vitamin A, calcium, iron, and zinc. It also contains a compound called glucoraphanin, which converts into sulforaphane, an organosulfur compound studied for its anti-inflammatory potential. Here's what makes this plant genuinely useful beyond nutrition. It's one of the most respected herbs in both Eastern and Western herbal tradition for its ability to promote rapid clotting, which is why it's traditionally been used for nosebleeds and minor wounds. That's the combination of vitamin K and specific compounds in the plant working together. The young rosette leaves taste peppery, almost like arugula, and work raw in a salad or blended into a spicy pesto. The seed pods themselves can be used fresh or dried as a peppery seasoning. Number 6. Common chickweed. This is a low, delicate, sprawling plant with tiny oval leaves and small white flowers, so deeply notched they look like 10 petals instead of 5. The single most reliable way to identify it is a thin line of hair running down one side of the stem that switches sides at every leaf junction, almost like a mohawk. Chickweed's green tissue carries a strong alpha-linolenic acid profile, and seed oil analysis has found stearidonic acid present too, which is a more advanced omega-3 compound your body converts into usable long-chain fats more efficiently than ALA alone. But the nutrient density here is what actually stops people. Chickweed contains roughly 6 times more vitamin C, 12 times more calcium, and 83 times more iron than cultivated spinach. Now here's the part where you actually have to pay attention. Chickweed has a toxic lookalike called scarlet pimpernel, and this one is dangerous to both humans and pets. Scarlet pimpernel has completely hairless, square stems and salmon red or blue flowers, while chickweed has round, hairy stems with that single mohawk line and small white star-shaped flowers. Snap the stem. Chickweed's inner core is stretchy and elastic. Scarlet pimpernel's is not. If you're not 100% sure which one you're looking at, walk away. Chickweed has a mild, sweet taste similar to corn silk, and it's best eaten raw, tossed into a salad, or blended into a wild pesto. Number 7. Lamb's quarters. This is a tall, fast-growing plant that can reach over 6 feet in nitrogen-rich soil, with leaves shaped like a goose's foot and a signature white, mealy powder coating the underside of every leaf. That powder is your identification shortcut. The leaves are rich in alpha-linolenic acid as the dominant fat present, and the seeds, which closely resemble quinoa, are packed with protein, phosphorus, and potassium. But the vitamin A content here is what's genuinely extraordinary. A single serving can provide over 10,000 international units, alongside significant vitamin C, riboflavin, calcium, and iron. The lookalike risk with lamb's quarters is black nightshade, and this one matters. Black nightshade has smooth, egg-shaped leaves, white-petaled flowers, and small berries growing in clusters. Lamb's quarters has jagged, goosefoot-shaped leaves, dusted in that white waxy powder, with a distinctive red-purple streak where the leaves meet the stem. No powder, no purple streak, don't eat it. One more thing before you cook this one. Lamb's quarters contains meaningful oxalic acid, so a quick 1 to 2 minute steam or sauté breaks that down, unlocks a buttery, spinach-like flavor, and makes the calcium and iron in the leaves far more available to your body. Number 8. Stinging nettle. This is the plant everyone already knows to avoid touching, and that's exactly why most people never realize what they're walking past. Stinging nettle grows up to 4 feet tall, with serrated, dark green leaves covered in tiny hollow hairs that inject a cocktail of formic acid and histamine into your skin on contact. That sting is real, and it's the reason this plant gets pulled and cursed at instead of harvested. Here's what almost nobody knows. The lipid content in mature nettle leaves is nearly 41% alpha-linolenic acid of the plant's total oil content, giving it one of the most favorable omega-3 to omega-6 ratios of any land plant tested, well above 3 to 1. It's also about 25% protein by dry weight, along with iron, calcium, manganese, and chlorophyll. Non-negotiable rule with this one. Never eat stinging nettle raw. The same compounds that cause the sting on your skin can cause your tongue and throat to swell if consumed uncooked. Boil or blanch the leaves in salted water for 2 minutes, and the sting completely deactivates. After that, treat it exactly like spinach. Sauté it with garlic, blend it into a pesto, or fold it into a quiche. Number 9. Common purslane. Now we're getting into the plants that genuinely rewrite what you think a weed is capable of. Purslane is a low, spreading succulent with thick, reddish stems and small paddle-shaped leaves that crack open the sidewalk and thrive in soil so dry and compacted, almost nothing else survives there. Purslane holds the highest recorded concentration of alpha-linolenic acid of any leafy green plant ever tested, at up to roughly 400 milligrams per 100 grams of fresh leaf. In the leaves, ALA makes up as much as 60% of the plant's total fat content. It even contains trace amounts of EPA, the long-chain omega-3 normally found almost exclusively in fish. On top of that, purslane has more vitamin A than any other leafy green tested, plus vitamin C, vitamin E, glutathione, potassium, magnesium, and one of the highest concentrations of melatonin found in any food on Earth. Traditional Chinese medicine calls it the vegetable for long life for a reason, using it for centuries to manage blood pressure and inflammation. The lookalike to know here is spotted spurge, and this one is genuinely toxic. Spotted spurge has thin, papery, non-succulent leaves and hairy stems, and it oozes a milky white sap that causes skin irritation the moment you break it. Purslane, by contrast, is thick and fleshy, with smooth reddish stems, and it releases a clear, watery, almost gel-like sap. Snap the stem before you touch anything else. Clear sap, you're safe. Milky sap, walk away. The taste is crisp, lemony, and slightly salty. Eat it raw in a salad, blend it into a cold pesto, or use it to naturally thicken a soup. Number 10. Beefsteak plant. And here it is, the plant that outperforms almost everything else on this list combined. Beefsteak plant, also called shiso or perilla, escaped cultivated gardens generations ago and has spread across the eastern and midwestern United States as a common weed. It has square, purple-grooved stems and broad, serrated leaves that are green or deep purple, and crushing a leaf releases a complex smell somewhere between cinnamon, mint, and licorice. Here's the number. Perilla seeds contain 35 to 45% oil, and of that oil, 54 to 64% is pure alpha-linolenic acid. That makes it one of the single most concentrated plant-based omega-3 sources known to exist, on par with or exceeding flaxseed, which is the plant most people already consider the gold standard. The leaves carry meaningful ALA too, along with compounds that have been shown in clinical research to block inflammatory pathways and ease allergy symptoms. There is one real caution with this plant. Wild strains growing in North America can contain respiratory toxins that are dangerous to grazing livestock, while cultivated Asian varieties do not carry meaningful levels of those same compounds. Humans eating the wild leaves in normal culinary amounts have shown minimal adverse effects historically, but the seed oil specifically should always be used cold, since heating it can alter its chemistry. When in doubt, treat the leaves as a seasoning, not a base green, and you'll be fine. In Asian cooking, the leaves are used raw as wraps for meat, minced into stir-fries, or pickled for winter storage. It's the single most concentrated backyard source of omega-3 on this entire list, and it's probably been growing at the edge of your yard the whole time. If you made it all the way here, you now know something most people never will. That the weeds getting sprayed, mowed, and bagged for the trash in your neighborhood are, in some cases, more nutritionally concentrated than the supplements people spend real money on. Before you go forage any of this, 3 rules. Never harvest within about 50 feet of a busy road, since plants absorb exhaust particulates and tire residue from traffic. Never harvest a lawn that looks suspiciously perfect, since that usually means herbicide. And when a plant has a toxic look-alike, don't guess. Use the specific identifiers we just walked through, or don't pick it. This isn't about turning your yard into a survival course. It's about recognizing that some of the most functional, omega-3 dense food on the planet has been growing free, right outside your door, the entire time you've been paying to throw it away. Smash that like button if this changed how you'll look at your own backyard. Drop a comment and tell me which one of these 10 you're most surprised is actually edible. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button, because we cover the science hiding in the world right outside your window every single week.